This is Mother Rose. She ran a successful restaurant called Leone's. That was until she ended up spending 2 years in a coma. After which, she would awake to a nightmare, as her son had been running Leone's into the ground without her. He sits around watching TV like another customer and ignores his responsibilities.
I'm busy, I'm just trying to find the game.
The kitchen is a complete mess, covered by dirt and spoiled food. Yet the cooks haven't done anything about it. They don't even like eating the food they serve, and they have over 100 dishes on their menu. The owner gives Gordon complete freedom to save her restaurant, even if he has to resort to heavy-handed tactics to bring the place up to code.
Ramsay needs to kick Michael in the ass.
The clock is ticking for Mother Rose and Leone's. Chef Ramsay is her last option to save the restaurant, or else.
I will have no other choice but to die.
With everything on the line, did Rose and Michael change their ways in the long run? To understand if Chef Ramsay's changes were successful, we have to first go back to the beginning of the saga. We travel to Montclair, New Jersey, a suburban community just outside Manhattan and the home of Leone's, an Italian restaurant opened in 1996 by Rose Leone. For years, Leone's was the locals' favorite Italian spot, to the point that many would line up just to dine there. Rose was mainly responsible for that prosperous era, although she has been away from the business for 2 years due to complications from a kidney stone operation that left her in a coma. Since then, her son Michael took over the reins of the restaurant, but he lacks his mother's management abilities. All he does is eat, watch soccer, and go home, a ritual he repeats every day. Faced with such an incompetent owner, Trudy, the head waitress, must take care of everything in the restaurant, from staff coordination to expediting. But that's not enough to keep the employees focused, as they repeat Michael's habits. They even go out to play soccer in the parking lot. Leone's has become a pitiful place with a terrible reputation, but everything changes when its real owner, Rose, recovers from her coma. Seeing her dream shattered by her son, Rose decides to call Chef Ramsay.
I will have no other choice but to die.
You better save this restaurant, Gordon. When Ramsay arrives at Leone's, the first thing he sees is Michael watching TV at the front entrance. Then, Gordon switches roles so that Michael realizes what a terrible first impression the customers are getting. If that surprise at the entrance wasn't enough, Ramsay finds disturbing baby paintings on the wall. Finally, Ramsay meets Rose, one of his biggest fans.
Chef Ramsay's hot. I've been married 3 times. I need number 4.
That's very bold of you, Rose, but another owner named Rita also wants the same thing. When Gordon gathers all the staff, Trudy confesses that she's had to do all of Michael's work. As soon as he hears that, Michael adopts a defensive attitude, claiming that he cares about his business and the staff should try harder. I don't know if someone who spends 3 hours a day sitting on his ass watching TV should say that. Rose adds that they are losing $4,000 a week. As part of his plan, Ramsay asks the staff to cook 1 dish from everything on the menu, which is 15 pages long. After a great effort by the staff, Ramsay finds a proper buffet in the dining room. There are over 100 dishes, so I hope Ramsay is very hungry. The worst part is that most dishes look disgusting. Still, Ramsay starts with the pizzas, which are entirely bland. Then he goes through the risotto, which looks more like mashed potatoes. While inspecting the dishes, Gordon detects a terrible smell from the clams.
I don't want you smelling that. No, not with your state of health.
Sounds like a joke, but those clams could be a health risk. The rest of the dishes are just as awful, primarily because of the excess onion added. Ramsay is used to tasting lousy food on the show, though this time, it was a buffet of pure disappointments for his stomach. Ramsay then calls in head chef, Karchi, to force him to try his own food.
I don't like person. I don't like.
No, Karchi, it's not just a personal opinion. Nobody likes that food. Even his assistant chef can't stand up to that test as he spits out the food. Despite that, Michael still likes the food. Either he's too arrogant or has terrible taste. I don't know which is worse. At dinner service, Leone's fills up for the first time in a long time thanks to Ramsay's presence. But that doesn't mean good news. As customers deal with the lousy food, Ramsay finds some surprises in the kitchen. A microwave dish, a tray of cooked chicken next to a tray of raw chicken, and more frozen meat. And don't even get me started on all the spoiled food. As unbelievable as it sounds, there are ingredients stored in that fridge from Thanksgiving 2010, and the episode was filmed in mid-2011. Faced with that situation, Ramsay orders them to suspend service immediately. It's the first time in its history that Leone's has closed like that, but at least Michael was honest with his customers. However, that doesn't save him from a scolding from Ramsay, Rose, and the staff, who confirm that he's too lazy for his job. Because of that, Michael orders a deep clean of the kitchen. While overseeing the cleanup, Rose can't help but cry, so her son promises that they'll turn the situation around. We'll see, Michael, we'll see. The next step in Ramsay's plan is take the staff to an art gallery to look at pictures of delicious food. Of course, everyone likes those pictures until they find out nearby Italian restaurants made them. Leone's is far from being a serious competitor in the Montclair area. As proof, Gordon shows him dishes from his own restaurant for comparison. Thanks to that, Michael understands that his food isn't that great, so Gordon teaches him how to cook some Italian dishes. Even though Michael doesn't cook often, his dishes turn out pretty well, and he himself admits that working alongside Ramsay has given him confidence. Let's hope it's enough confidence to start running his business. After Michael's transformation, it's time for the restaurant to do the same. So Ramsay's team spends an entire night remodeling the place into a modern Italian restaurant. Of course, they got rid of the dull wall color and creepy baby paintings. Sorry, Rose. I know you did them with much love, but I wouldn't feel comfortable eating next to those babies. In their place, Ramsay's team put up paintings of Italy and other decor that combine classic with contemporary. The renovations are accompanied by a POS system to help staff take orders in less time. As for the food, the biggest problem at the old Leone's, Ramsay replaced it with 45 fresh and simple Italian dishes. As the relaunch begins, Michael starts off strong in the kitchen, delivering dishes quickly. However, Michael eventually screws up and sends several dishes to the wrong tables.
Chef Ramsay needs to kick Michael in the ass.
Michael doesn't seem like a bad guy, but I agree with Rose. Realizing he mixed up the orders, Michael begins to get frustrated, though Ramsay motivates him to get back to the good rhythm he had before. With that, they manage to put the mistakes behind them and deliver dishes to the correct tables. At the end of a successful relaunch, Michael proves he can take care of business, so his mother can get some well-deserved rest. Before leaving, Gordon makes it clear to Michael that he must stick to his role as a boss with all the confidence that entails.
Chef, in my restaurant, I'm gonna stay the course.
That's the way, pal. Seeing Leone's is in good hands, Ramsay says goodbye to everyone, from greeting customers watching TV to managing a packed restaurant. What a character development Michael had. But did that good attitude last, or did his mother have to take over the business again? What happened to Leone's after the show? For at least several weeks after Gordon's visit, Michael stayed the course and returned Leone's to its former glory.
You are hot like Chef Ramsay. Hot, hot, hot.
A year later, Gordon returned to Leone's for the show's 6th season. Michael is the first to greet him, and guess what? There's no longer a TV on his table. Aside from continuing the excellent work dynamic, Michael started a delivery campaign to boost business. Among other changes, Chef Karchi and his assistant were fired after the filming of the first episode. Without a doubt, Michael looks much more committed to his job. His mother, Rose, also frequents the restaurant in a secondary role, especially if Chef Ramsay is back in town.
And you're still hot.
While Ramsay waits for his food, he talks to Trudy and another waiter, who mention that Michael doesn't spend much time in the restaurant and usually visits a nearby bar. Excellent, Michael. You lied to Chef Gordon Ramsay. At least the food is to Ramsay's liking, though it doesn't take long for him to confront Michael for lying. After that, Gordon leaves disappointed, but Michael manages to stop him and promises he will be the leader the restaurant deserves. Some things never change, but Michael is not one of those cases, as he kept his promise and dedicated himself entirely to the restaurant. Well, it looks like he somewhat kept the promise, as Leone's is rated on Yelp with 3.5 stars based on 383 reviews. Not incredible numbers, but considering the initial state of the restaurant, it's a vast improvement. One reviewer said that the calamari was the highlight of the meal. Gordon Ramsay was right, this dish will blow your lungs out. Make sure not to breathe when you eat this. Everything else was pretty decent too. Plus, the people who went specifically for Kitchen Nightmares were satisfied with the changes. Of course, like any restaurant, there are also negative reviews, such as some complaining that the menu has gotten worse and the service is terrible. Still, Leone's has more positive reviews than negative ones, so we can consider it a success. On its Facebook profile, the situation is much better, as it enjoys 4.1 stars based on 574 reviews. Currently, Michael manages Leone's, and most customers praise his service. But it's not all good news, as Rosa unfortunately died in April of 2014 at the age of 64. The reasons were not disclosed, but perhaps she had more health complications. Let's remember that she was still dealing with the aftermath of the coma when the episode was originally filmed. In her online obituary, we can see that she founded another restaurant in Montclair called Moma Rose before Leone's. She always had the talent of a good restaurateur in her blood. Rest in peace, Rose. I'm sure your spirit is still overseeing Leone's and helping your son. As for Michael's personal life, the only thing I can say for sure is that he continues to manage the restaurant. Beyond that, Michael's life is a mystery, as he has no social media, but it is enough to know that he continues to carry on his mother's legacy with pride. We love you, Moma Rose.